Hey everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish, and in this vlog, it's a Mayday situation. You may recall a few months ago that I had the dreaded S word, which was a slump. It lasted all of February, all of March, most of April and some of May. Then in May and June, fantastic. Everything was going great, and then in July I've had back-to-back DNFs, disappointments, and it's making me not even want to pick books up. Even my most anticipated books I am not wanting to pick up, and I can feel I'm about to go back into a slump, but I do not want to let that happen because I hate it when it does. Now, I did actually start this vlog and I'd picked out my books and I'd started filming it, but then I watched Aoife's recent video, which was The Weather Controls My Reading, and I thought this is such a good idea. The idea is essentially you look at what the maximum temperature is going to be for the day, and that is what decides how many pages you need to read. Now, because she, like myself, is European, we use Celsius, so the numbers tend to be a lot lower, and what she did was she just converted that daily Celsius into Fahrenheit. Now, because I am in a slump, I know at the minute we are averaging about 23-24 degrees Celsius. Do I know what that is in Fahrenheit? Not a clue. So let's have a look. 23 Celsius to Fahrenheit, 73. I'm in a reading slump and I'm struggling to want to pick books up. Does that mean that I'm going to read 73 pages in a day? Absolutely not. So I am going to stick to Celsius because that's much gentler, it's a nicer target, it's less daunting, especially when you're not really feeling like you want to read. However, I'm adding a couple of little extra fun things in there. So because we are in England and the weather in England is shit all year round, even today as I'm filming this, it's currently sunny, the sun's just come out, but not even 5 minutes ago we had drizzly rain. So as we are in a bit of a precarious time of the year as well, summer, we tend to be very, 1 minute it's raining, next minute it's sunny, then we'll get a random thunderstorm for no reason thrown in there. So I've kind of added a little caveat. If it rains, which it probably will because, like I said, England, if it rains at any point during the day, and I don't mean like if I'm asleep or whatever, or if I don't notice, I won't count that. But if I actively look out the window and I notice that it is raining, I have to double that day's page count. And if for any reason we end up with one of our random summer thunderstorms, whether it be the teeniest little grumble or a full-blown one that we have been threatened with multiple times and yet it has not come through, I want a thunderstorm, please. Then I have one of two options. I either have to triple my page count for that day or swap books. So with that in mind, what books have I chosen for this? Well, what is something that you would expect someone to pick up for when in a reading slump? You would think manga, something maybe short and sweet, a romance that's got a very good fast pace, something that you can easily jump into, get absorbed in to really smack you back out of that slump, right? So why did I choose a 650 plus page epic fantasy from an author I don't know and in a world I don't know? It's me. I have to. But this is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I am currently on chapter 3. I have completed 23 pages, so I am not far in it at all. But where normally I will tab a book for a while until I'm sure that I will love it and that I want to actually highlight and annotate, I lasted 2 pages. So, you know, this is page 1. We have page 1. And then... So it's safe to say I am enjoying it. I'm just still really struggling, and it's nothing against the book, it's me. I'm the problem. So we have The Raven Scholar is going to be the main book that I have no delusions. I'm not going to finish it in this week. There's no way I can. But I would like to at least try and get a good chunk of this done and at least feel like I'm back in the flow of reading. But if, like I said, if it does have a storm, I do have to switch books. So with that in mind, I have 2 backup books. I have Death of a Bookseller by Alice Slater, which is kind of like a thriller psychological thing, and then one that I've kind of been craving is No Life for a Lady by Hannah Dolby, and that is I'm not sure if it's Regency or Victorian, but it's around about that era. It's around about that era, and it is a historical kind of romance, but also is basically her going against all of the rules and doing all the things that a woman should not be doing. But hopefully between these 3 books, maybe I will manage to fend off this slump, and maybe I will actually start to feel good again about books and stop feeling scared that they're going to let me down because so many have. Let's get on to reading, I guess. I also forgot to mention that if I don't hit that day's target, so even if it's only sort of 20 pages and I don't do 20 pages, I'm not going to add it on to the next day and be like, as a punishment, I've now got to read 20 extra pages, which is another thing that Aoife did. What I am going to do is that will also mean I've got to change books. So if today I've got to do 20 pages. If I don't, then tomorrow I've got to pick one of the other 2 books and switch to that for tomorrow's daily page. Because at the end of the day, this video is about trying to not go into a slump. So if something's making me not want to pick it up, then clearly that's not going to be helping. So maybe the sort of trying new books, and maybe one of these 3 will just hook me completely in. So yeah, that's all going to be part of it as well. It's going to be fun. I'm actually looking forward to this. I might regret saying that, but at the minute, I'm looking forward to it. Tuesday. As you saw yesterday, I did have a slight change in plans. I was going to read The Raven Scholar, sat down, I had a bit of a weird head day. It was also a really bad insomnia day and everything was just bleh. Jona then had the fantastic idea of what if I tried an audiobook while I was video gaming, and I went, not sure. But what I did is I went through all of my audiobooks to see which ones I also owned physically. I owned a few, but unfortunately a lot of them are ones that are rereads and I want to go back and annotate now I have the physical book. But there was one that has been on my TBR forever, and I thought, do you know what, let's just do some farming on Genshin. Let's read this book, listen to this book and see how it goes. Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. Let's just say it went pretty well. My target for yesterday was 20 pages. I'm on page 72. And I'm having a really good time. I am concerned. I have heard that the second half of the book goes a lot more into romance and less into like the competition side of things, and I'm a little bit concerned because I am getting a little bit fed up of stories that start out so interesting and so strong, and then as soon as there's a romance involved, it all becomes about the romance and the initial plot might as well not have existed. And it's like, you know, Plated Prisoner, we knew that was a romance from day one. It was set up as a romance, so I didn't mind that the story became about the romance, because within that romance we are getting the story of Oren becoming like this incredible person. But things like K-pop Demon Hunters, my biggest issue with it was that the story started out fantastic following the Huntresses, and I would have rather it stayed about the sisterhood and the themes of family and being the hunters, and it became a romance that was half-baked, half-assed and boring as hell. And even when it became dramatic and emotional, I was sat there going, I'm not even invested in this. So yeah, I didn't like that side of it at all. I was like, music, 1000 out of 10. Characters, 9 out of 10. Story, 2 out of 10. But anyway, this, we have Maya. Her father is a master tailor. It starts quite emotional. It doesn't fray shy from starting things off with like, you die, you die, you die. And it was an emotional beginning. But Maya takes her father's place in a competition to become the emperor's new tailor. And it hasn't been the best of starts. It's been a bit rocky. I'm deliberately being a little bit vague because my battery is about to die and I want to try and cram everything in before it does. But it's just basically a sort of Mulan retelling. She pretends to be her father, knowing that the punishment would be death if she is found out, and she wants to restore her family's name and her family's glory by entering this competition, and along the way has discovered that she owns a pair of magic scissors, so now is in this moral dilemma of, am I doing well because I am naturally gifted, or am I doing well because I'm using magic to cheat? So there's this kind of concourse going on. So that's where I'm at so far. She's just had the first round of the competition and I really am enjoying. Some of the characters are a bit vague and I'm wondering where it's going to go, but I am having fun so far. But today's numbers, what do we have to aim for right now? It is currently 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I have only just gotten up. As I said, insomnia is kind of screwing me up. I stayed up till 5 AM this morning before I went to bed. Our maximum temperature today is 24 degrees. It has been raining. I know it's been raining because it was raining when I went to bed and the ground is a little bit saturated. Like, it's not currently wet and there's no puddles, but you can see that it has been, so it's very, very highly likely that it's going to rain. But currently our target is 24 pages, which if I continue with the audiobook is great. Maybe I can do another 70 pages today. I doubt it because I'm not really in a reading mood and I've got a lot to get done, but we shall try and we shall see. But I am actually surprisingly having a good time with this, considering the last book that I'd left on my TBR 5+ years I DNF'd earlier this month. So it's nice to have an older like TBR vet that I'm actually really enjoying this. But you know, still early days, we still have this much to go. I could change my mind. I have been tricked multiple times this month into thinking a book's going to be good. So let's find out. Hello, it's been a couple of days and I am a bit delayed in getting this update, mostly because I have had a bit of a problem with my head for the last couple of days and it's been a bit migrainey and there's just been some stuff going on with my head that's kind of However, we're now in Friday. I haven't updated. I think Wednesday was the last day I updated. So on Wednesday, I needed to get to page, I think it was 96, I remember saying. And because there was only one single page between 96 and the end of that chapter, I did read up till the end of that chapter. So I got to page 98. So I successfully read my pages for Wednesday. yesterday, so Thursday, I have it screenshot here. So it was 23 degrees. We avoided any rain. So it meant that we needed to, from like page 98, 108, I needed to get to page 124. So this is where I got to. Like, that's what I needed to read. This is what I actually read. So I was really absorbed in the story and I was having a good time. So I thought, well, it has different parts and I didn't know that. So I was like, well, part 2 is only like another 30 pages. It's going to take me about an hour. And I was really absorbed in Genshin Impact at that time. So I was like, well, let's just carry on until my headphones die. And they died. Literally, I had that to go on the audiobook and my headphones ran out of battery and I was like, you son of a... So that does mean that as of today, as of Friday, I am on part 2, which means that I will be starting at page 163, which is about halfway through. Now, very quick address right now. Let's have a bit of a chat. Firstly, do I feel that this is removing the slump? Yes and no. I think what it is doing is definitely revealing that right now audiobooks are working really well for me, because even though my audiobook reading has been ridiculously bad this year, the twice that I have gotten into an audiobook, I have really enjoyed it. And I'm also under no delusions. I am fully aware that if I was reading this with my eyeballs and I wasn't listening to it, I don't think I'd be having anywhere near as good a time. The voice actor in this, her name is Kim, my guest. She's definitely one that I will look out for in future, but her performance, oh my God, it's incredible. Right from the very first chapter, she has just got a certain tone and a way of emoting that just absolutely hit me in all the right places. And like I said, I'm fully aware I would not probably be enjoying this as much if it wasn't for how good her narration is and how good her voice is. At the point where I'm at now with part 2, we have focused on the competition. We've had the end of the competition, we've had the climax of that, and then some stuff has been revealed and she's now been put into this kind of this or that situation. She's basically been given this ultimatum of, you've got a choice now. You either do this or we will do this. And she's gone, well, shit, guess I better say yes and accept that because I don't want all this to happen. So I'm a bit worried because part 1 was focused on the tailoring competition and it was really interesting hearing about the different types of embroidery and learning how she was doing her craft, and I really was invested in that. Part 2, I am worried. It's still going to focus on the tailoring, but from what I understand, she now gets given these like impossible tasks. And it says here, you know, for the final challenge to sew 3 gowns so dangerously beautiful it would take a quest to the ends of the earth to complete them. And so I feel like it's going to become a bit more of a travel vlog. And there's also a budding romance happening between her and the emperor's, like, in the court enchanter, Eden. And it's like, I'm worried that the second half is going to focus and go more into the romance, and it's going to become like a travel / adventure with those two falling in love rather than being about the tailoring and the dressmaking, which was what I was really enjoying. So I'm going to remain hopeful, but I am concerned that it's going to go a little bit too much into that. As far as today goes, we are currently, when I woke up, the ground was wet. So I guess score 1 for having a migraine, where I ended up back in bed at 6 o'clock this morning and slept through till 2 o'clock this afternoon. I guess score 1 for that because it meant I missed the rain. However, the clouds, it doesn't say we are due rain today, but we have clearly had rain. But the clouds are looking a little bit ominous and I've got a funny feeling it is going to rain. So I'm going to try and get today's pages. Today we are due 20 degrees. So that means 20 pages, which takes us to 183. But what I like to do is go to the next, like the end of that chapter. So 187 is the aim to get to, which is, I think, the halfway point in this. So that will be nice to get to the start of the end of chapter 18. I've just turned Genshin on. I'm gonna do some farming for my characters. There's some new adventures that have launched, so I signed off this morning because I was uploading a video. So I'm gonna go do the bits that I didn't do this morning, catch up a little bit, and hopefully by the time I've done that, I should have read or listened to those 2 chapters. But yeah, that's where we're at for Friday. And then this weekend, Saturday, we're predicted like 1 or 2 very light showers, but Sunday we are predicted very heavy rain. And we have had a warning that we could get thunderstorms. And I'm kind of now at the point, I'm hoping that I don't have to change book because I am kind of invested in this. And I'm worried that this one's going to end up being one of those ones that if I go away from it, I'm not going to come back. So yeah, I guess that's just an incentive to try and get it done as early as possible. I'm going to go and try and get to this before those clouds get too much of a chance to turn dark and rainy. We have a sleepy Jinty. Oh, not so sleepy. Little baby. You can have a yawn for your friends. Oh no, we're just gonna look like a little princess instead. But we have, you can see, it's not currently wet. There are no signs of rain, but those clouds, oh, got a little bit of blue sky, but those clouds over there are kind of not looking optimistic. So let's try and beat them. No battery at all, so I'm really going to quickly say that yesterday I did end up swapping books because I had a really bad day with my head and I was in a bit of a fog and a funk and just did not want to do anything. But when I went to bed, I did start a super secret project that I'm not going to go into details. All I will say is that I have a series of vlogs coming up for Halloween and I started officially filming for it yesterday. And I did read 20 pages, well, I think it was 21 pages of the first book. So even though I didn't do my pages for Spin the Dawn, I have done 20 pages for yesterday and we did avoid the rain, which was awesome. Today it is 22 degrees temperature. We are supposedly due a bit of rain, so it could still go up, but looking outside, it's blue skies and sunshine. But tomorrow we are due quite a lot of rain all day, so I reckon tomorrow is going to be when I have to really read. I'm going to go back to Spin the Dawn. I'm surprised that so far I did really want to skip yesterday, I will admit. I was kind of like, I just don't want to do anything today. But, you know, I did end up reading something, and so far so good with that one, which is, I mean, it is only 20 pages, but it did start off a bit creepy, and I was like, what am I doing? But yeah, anyway, I'm going to get on, get today's done, and the battery is about to die, so gonna go. Check me out, updating on the same day that I have read the pages. So due to insomnia, I woke up at 1 o'clock this morning and was like, well, I'm not getting back to sleep. So I got up and I put my video games on and I thought, well, I'll do my usual, stick the audiobook on, see where we get to, and promptly listen to another 50 pages. I thought I would update, see where we're at, how am I still feeling about this. And I'm actually like cautiously optimistic that I might be able to finish this book in this vlog, which would be fantastic. I have reached the point where, okay, the romance is now 99% of the plot, but I'm not mad about it right now. Like, yes, I can see where this plot is going. I can even kind of see what's going to happen in the next book. And again, I thought that about Blackout Nights, and that smacked me in the face and told me I was wrong. So I'm not still bitter about that in any way, shape or form. But the end of the last chapter had me like, I was squeeing. I did do a little like, ah! And I was getting very happy and giddy. And there have been one or two moments in the last few chapters where I haven't been full mode kicking my feet and giggling like a maniac, but I have not been far off. And there have been a few involuntary noises of cuteness aggression, which at 3-4 o'clock in the morning is very difficult to try and not be too loud. But I was definitely, there was one bit where I was just like, oh my god, that's so freaking cute. So I am enjoying the romance in this. Do I still feel like it's a little too much romance? Yeah, kind of a little bit. There's other bits that I would like to do, and I feel like they have done the thing of once they have professed, it's gone from like 0 to 100 quite quickly. But it also does make sense for them and their situation, but I can't say why because that will be spoilery. But if you've read this, you'll probably sort of understand what I mean by that. But where I was worried that I was gonna not enjoy it because it's become more about a travel, I've actually been really enjoying it. There's been enough stuff going on alongside the traveling aspect. Like, we've met new characters, we've had a couple of events, like there was one night where they were attacked by wolves. So it's not just the same thing day in, day out, and the chapters aren't ending the same way. Like, it's a little bit repetitive. I did find that there were 2 or 3 chapters in a row where it ended with like, oh, and I went to sleep. It's like, cool, great, I assumed you would. But then there's a bit more to it, so it's not too bad actually. I've been having a really good time. Currently I'm still sitting on about a 4, maybe. Depending on the ending, it could maybe push to a 4.5, but right now it is a very steady 4-star. I'm having a good time. I'm feeling the feels. There was one part in particular, they arrive on this like icy mountain. There's like all these bodies of soldiers that are in various states of death, shall we say. And she has this really sickening realization that one of her brothers will be one of those bodies because he died, like he was posted there. And that's where he fell. I felt it was a really powerful moment, like emotionally, and that did have me tearing up a little bit because I made the realization before the book told me that the realization was there, and I was like, oh no. So when I sort of was already aware and then reading her as she came to that realization, I was just, my heart was breaking for her. Genuinely, I was like, oh my god, this poor woman. And I was like, please, 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 please do not let her actually see him and know that it's him. I will let you read it to find out how all that went. But one thing I have picked up from this author is that when she starts to pull the emotional punches, she is so good at writing it. Everything, like romance, I'm feeling is a little bit stiff and stilted. But the descriptions of things, and when she writes action and when she writes emotion, oh yes, 10 out of 10, fantastic. I'm now on page 284, and I think today I only had to get to page like 250 or something. And again, I have been very fortunate that because I was reading it in the dead of night, so the curtains were closed, I wasn't aware that it was raining. But I don't think it has rained, even though we were told that it was going to rain on and off all day. It hasn't rained today. the weather seems to have been on my side, but it doesn't matter even if it does pour down with rain because I've finished today's chapters. I think there's about 110 pages left in this, and the rate I've been reading it, I can, like, we've got Monday and Tuesday to go. I think I can do it. I don't feel like, oh, I should have got to this sooner, and it's not going to become an all-time favourite, but it's good enough that I'm like, yeah, I don't mind that it's been on my shelves for so long because I'm actually really enjoying it now I'm getting to it. And again, at the minute, I'm still like, about the sequel. I'm still like not really planning on picking that up. But again, we shall see how the ending goes. We did it. We got to the end of the week. Is it the most triumphant of victories on this final day where I go, hey, I finished the book, or I read 1,000 pages yesterday? No, not quite. Unfortunately, I only ended up reading 10 pages yesterday. And that was like right at the start of the day when I was reading Teacher of the Year, and I only did 10 pages. And I just wasn't in the mood to read, but it was because I was filming various things. I did a whole ton of editing, and yesterday I took myself on a adventure that I kind of wish I didn't do, and nearly got myself in trouble. So yeah, I was busy doing other things, but it does mean that we end the week on a total across 3 different books. I read 365 pages, which, considering I actually don't think I read 365 pages in the entirety of July. To go from, you know, not even 500 in an entire month to nearly 400 in 1 week, it worked really well. I had a really good time with this. I'm really, really grateful that Aoife gave me the idea because it did really help. Where a few days ago I was like, it's not really getting me out of the slump, because even though while I was listening to it, I was actively interested and involved, but then as soon as I stopped listening, I just lost interest. It was like a switch just went off yesterday, and all of a sudden I was looking at my books getting really excited. I've literally got a stack behind the camera. This is going to go well, isn't it? I have this stack here of various books that I want to get to very soon, and I kept looking at this stack being like, ugh, none of these are calling to me, whereas now I'm looking at them and I'm like, every single one is making me excited. So I think, like I said, definitely audiobooks is a way that I want to go forward. I'm going to be using Spotify. I'm going to be using my Audible. I've got a few books on there, and the ones that I've got physical books of, I will be making the most of Libby system to try and get as many audiobooks as I can. So I definitely think Jona was onto something there with the audiobooks, and maybe I just need to be consuming books in a different format for me to really be falling in love with them. And maybe it's the performance aspect of the voice actors is what was really engaging me. So, and I did have a look, and I realised recently that the books that I have listened to on audio, I do tend to rate slightly higher. So Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. I mean, granted, Joe Jameson, gonna be rated high. But the infamous one, Raven Cycle, I DNF'd it. I had no interest, and yet Will Patton hook, line, sinkered me. The Great Coats I probably wouldn't have even picked up if it wasn't for the audiobook. I just wouldn't have been interested. So there are so many books. I mean, I've not read that many audiobooks, but there are multiple books that I can look at and go, I don't think I would have rated these as highly as I did if it wasn't for how well they were done for the audio. So that has definitely helped. And then gradually through the week, it has trickled into other things. Granted, I'm now doing Cliteraturathon. That started yesterday, and I am like really excited for what I'm reading for that, and I just want to get started on them. And then I'm also doing a series of vlogs for Halloween this year. I've started reading for a couple of those, and again, because I'm reading stuff that's very, like, I'm either reading it in a way that's different to my normal, or I'm reading completely different stuff to my normal. It just seems to have fired something in my brain, and it's not that I don't want to be reading fantasy in any way, shape or form, and it doesn't mean that I don't want to be reading XYZ. It just means that I think I just needed a bit of a brain break and a palate cleanser, especially like with manga, because I've been storming through my manga this year. I did want to take a bit of time off this month. I don't really think I have any manga on my TBR, and I'm not going to push myself to do it. I am going to go through my manga series. I do want to do a video this month where I go through, like I did with my reading series and my book series, where I was talking about like where I'm at, which ones I want to continue, etc. I do want to do a bit of a series update for my manga reading and then work out from there which ones I would like to try and get to this year. But other than that, I'm just going to chill. I've already hit my manga goal. I want to focus on some novels for a bit. So yeah, while I'm not completely out of the danger zone, I do feel that this week, and the mixture of having the fun with the weather and having, even though I've had that daily goal, it's been such an achievable and such a fun goal to reach that I've outdone myself every single day, and I've had a fun time doing it. So thank you, Aoife, for the inspiration. Thank you, Jona, for helping me reignite my love for audiobooks. And thank you guys for tuning in, watching, and just, you know, keeping me wanting to keep doing these videos, because, you know, there's been a lot of discourse lately about people who are giving up their social medias and their YouTubes and stuff because, you know, it's just not rewarding anymore. Whereas for me, it gets more rewarding every year. Even if I don't have the growth that I would want, I feel like the community I'm building is getting more and more rewarding every year, so I don't really mind so much. Anyway, that's going into sappy territory, so I'm gonna go. To be fair, you know, my insomnia that I've been struggling with this week, I didn't sleep last night. I have now been awake since 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and it's now 8 o'clock today morning. Yeah, I'm coming up to about 20 hours awake. Tired me is sentimental me. Anyway, let me know if you enjoyed this video. I definitely had a fun time, and if you've got any suggestions for similar things that I could do to kind of turn my reading into a bit of a game and a bit of fun, please do let me know below. In the meantime, I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!